Suddenly, Lan Fengjin threw the demon beast away and said, "You've worked hard. This is your reward." Qin Yan was taken aback and asked, "Are you leaving just like that?" Lan Fengjin stated, "Are you, the honorary disciple of the Eastern Palace, going to return with me?" Hearing this, Qin Yan hurriedly replied, "Aren't you going to return to the Blue Star Palace with me? I have things to do at the Martial Arts Academy." At this moment, Qin Yan watched Lan Fengjin's departing figure and secretly thought, "He is really quite charming." Suddenly, Qin Yunfei came back and greeted them. "Teacher, I'm back." Du Gui looked astonished and said, "You actually took down the crown prince of the Tianling Empire. The news has spread like wildfire." Qin Yan explained, "I originally intended to kill Yin Sheng, but later was he caught by the prince. He said he wants to kill me, Yang Ming. I had no choice but to counterattack. What did the male lead say? Scared his teacher this way." Listening to Qin Yan's words, Du Gui said with a worried expression, "Meng Feiling and the dean discussed the whole story. The Tianling Empire was at fault first. The dean won't hand you over. You need to be careful when you go out." At that moment, Qin Yan quietly said, "Teacher, can you help me find an acquaintance at the Xuandian store? I want to quietly exchange for the mystical classic. I gained quite a lot this time. 7 Warcraft golden eggs. 7. Du Gui was instantly taken aback. "Can exchange for 600 million Xuandian. I will take you to find Pan Dawei." Pan Dawei smiled and said cheerfully, "Come, let me see. Du Gui brought me a big business opportunity. Let's see what this little rascal can come up with. Hee, that's all." Qin Yan took out the magical beast golden egg. Pan Dawei was taken aback, his eyes wide with shock, and exclaimed, "7 magic beast eggs? How did you do it? Even a team formed by the 5 mirror dancers. It's not that easy to get the WoW golden egg." Qin Yan replied politely, "It's a matter of luck. How much Xuandian can this be exchanged for?" Pan Dawei took a look and replied, "A total of over 600,100,000. As the card is placed on the charger, Pan Dawei held up his hands and said, "Manager Pan Dawei, the content of the transaction with the trader Qin Yan is—" At this moment, Qin Yan looked on in confusion and asked, "Teacher, do you have to keep saying this every time we trade?" Du Gui responded unhappily, "You don't know anything." As Pan Dawei finished speaking, "Xuandian Wealth Bar. It will be refreshed once a month. If you don't want to appear up there, just use up the Xuandian as soon as possible. Next time there's a deal like this, you can go straight into this VIP room. Someone will come to notify me." At this moment, Du Gui reminded him, "You can now exchange for a total of 5 bottles of Jingyuan Ling Sui. Once the Xuandian falls below 200 million, it can no longer be exchanged." "Listen," Qin Yan said with a laugh. "Then I will change it now. Give." As the exchange was completed, Pan Dawei began the registration again. "Manager Pan Dawei, the transaction details with the trader Qin Yan are as follows." At this moment, Du Gui thought to himself, "This paperwork is indeed quite annoying." The scene shifts to Xuanxing Tavern. Qin Yan exclaimed in surprise, "Ah, it's so delicious. Thank you, Fat Lao, for treating us." Du Gui chimed in, "You're welcome. The restaurant is run by him. This iron rooster rarely treats others." Yo. This suddenly cast a shadow over Pan Dawei's gambling. Suddenly, Qin Yan asked in confusion, "Two teachers. Every time I pass by Wanjing Lake, everyone feels it's a bit strange. I always feel like there's something terrifying down below." "Listen," Pan Dawei replied, My teacher once said, there is indeed something beneath Waxing Lake. Sealed within is a dragon ox. Our island is built upon him. Upon hearing this, Du Gui also agreed. Legend. It's all legend. I have also heard a legend from my teacher. The treasure is hidden inside the Xianxia. Listen, Pan Doe sighed. To this day, no one has ventured into the deepest part of Wansheng Lake, so it cannot be confirmed. But the old director said, Waxing Lake was originally a city. After going offline, the Dragon Bull became the guardian beast of Waxing Lake. Listen, Du Gui speculated. I don't know about those old bosses from back then. Is it that you're making up stories to deceive us? However, the Star Spiral Martial Arts Academy faced the arrival of the monster tide, much more peaceful than other colleges. At this moment, Pan Doe reminded, why think so much? The most important thing right now is, let Du Gui know that you are practicing the Divine J technique and the giant god kill, to quickly become a powerful god slayer. I heard that Mengfilin and the others have already joined the Demon Suppression King's army. The beasts that appeared in the Qianqin Empire have been eliminated. Don't fall behind, kid. Listening, King Yun thought while eating. You don't need to tell me that. King Yun looked at Yugang and thought. Everything is almost ready. The 5-body 7-layer Golden Valley mirror needs to be refined through diamond tempering. Convert Jingu's quality into liquid. Transform the 5 souls into the diamond 5 souls. Soaking in diamond essence can quickly refine the body, but the process will definitely be cold. It hurts so much. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. At this moment, King Yun feels the hidden path. I was just a step away from being completely overwhelmed. Why have my 3 paths and 5 souls reached a bottleneck, unable to evolve into the diamond 5 souls? Suddenly, Du Gui, who was hiding nearby, spoke up. You have reached a critical point. You need to unify your mind with the 5 souls. Only spiritual resonance can allow the 5 souls to evolve. Upon hearing this, King Yun was immediately frightened to the point of losing control. Oh dear, teacher, you didn't even say a word when you came. Du Gui continued to preach to himself. Once the 5 souls evolve, it means being able to leave your body. There will be significant risks. The 5 souls have their own spirituality. You need to guide it. King Yun, however, remained silent. Don't you ever listen to what others say? As soon as the words fell, Du Gui struck King Yun on the head with a loud smack. Decade, I have important news to inform you. Did I enter the wrong set? Unexpectedly, a competition for the mentor's favor unfolded. As we watched Du Gui continue to speak, the 3 of us from the Xuanji 5 courtyards will join forces with the Blue Star Palace, aiming to cultivate talented students. Establish a Heavenly Talent Academy. The landing point of the Xianxia Academy will be here. This Xianxia Academy, 5 elite mentors will be sent from the 3 great mysteries, 5 institutes, and the Blue Star Palace. Jiangshuan 5 courtyards, Linmu 5th Hospital, and Blue Star Palace. It's a bit contradictory with you. You better take care of yourself. The scene shifts to Tianjiao Academy. A few beautiful women were chatting. No wonder they chose this place. The environment of this 5th hospital is really nice. That's great. There are many handsome young men. Maybe we can run into some princes. You're such a lovesick fool. At that moment, King Yan saw a familiar figure, Xiao Yanwang. Suddenly thought to myself, oh yes, Xiao Yanwang is very likely going to become a mentor. King Yan suddenly walked over and shouted. King Yan quickly greeted, Guo Lao San, Muron Lao Er, you all are here too. At that moment, Murong sarcastically remarked. "We thought you wouldn't come. After all, Zio and the others are also here." At that moment, Huo Zhang reminded, "Stand straight, stand straight. The mentor has arrived." At that moment, King Yan suddenly gasped in surprise and confusion. "Tsai, he is also a mentor." As everyone gathered together, an old man introduced, "I am the principal of Tianjiao Academy. I won't say much more. Here, we will share the techniques of the 3 fifth hospitals and the Blue Star Palace. Students of Tianjiao Academy rely on their chosen gold cards. Can exchange for elixirs and other resources in the other 5 institutes and Blue Star Palace. Each mentor will take 4 students. Next, everyone takes turns showcasing their strength in the training arena. The mentor and the student engage in a double choice. All students will perform excellently in their future assessments. The mentor can receive generous rewards." As soon as the voice fell, someone stepped forward and clasped their fists in respect. "My name is Mo Yang, from the Spirit Mystery 5 Academy, Xiang Spirit Vein, Wuti Kachang, Bold and Evil 5 Souls." At this moment, the blue man spoke up. "Mo Yang, I also have the Beast 5 Souls, skilled in water attribute cultivation. Would you like to be my student?" "Wait a moment." Suddenly, the masked man interrupted. "Although I don't have the Beast 5 Souls, but I can have Kiwin Master Custom make the best spiritual tool for you." At this moment, King Yan was astonished. This is it," Mo Yang replied with a cheerful smile. "What else then? It looks like the next part will be quite dangerous too." At this moment, another person stepped up to introduce themselves. "I am Sun Jinghao, 20 years old, Liu Yang's spirit vein, Platinum Fire Fox 5 Souls, Wuti Jin Beiyang, from the Heavenly Mystery 5th Academy." At this moment, Lan Yinan and the masked man started fighting again. "Sun Jinghao, I will give you 1,000,000 gold coins." Only the carefree Long shouted domineeringly. At this moment, Sun Jinghao stepped forward and said, "Okay, you will be my mentor from now on." King Yan and the others felt a wave of nausea watching Xiao Long's actions. At that moment, a beautiful woman came out and said, "I am Zhu Zian, 18 years old, Wuti Bei, my spiritual veins and 5 souls." No comment. At this moment, King Yan looked on and thought, "Most of the students from Wuti Bei have already been taken. There were 2 women. This is the last one." At that moment, the 3 began to fight for it. "Zhu Tongsu, you and I offer 3,000,000 gold coins. I will invest 15,000,000. Suddenly, Lan Fengjin said lightly, "Su Xian, come with me. I entered the 5 realms in my 20s. Gold coins are so cliché. I won't use cheap coins to fool you anymore. By the way, I am still a senior Kiwin master." King Yan was taken aback. "He is a Kiwin master. You actually kept it from me that you are a Kiwinshi." At this moment, Zhu Ziyan also stepped forward to accept Lan Fengjin's invitation, as Huo Zhang stepped forward. At this moment, Murong sighed. "Finally, it's our 3rd one." However, King Yan thought to herself, "Can Huo Zhang succeed? If there are no students chosen by the mentor, I am going to be expelled from this special academy." At that moment, Lan Fengjin shouted, "Huo Zhang, come over to my side." Once this was said, the crowd began to discuss endlessly. What to pour? I can't believe they chose him. Looking silly and dazed. Luck is not bad. He didn't choose so many options. Murong felt happy at this moment. Huo has passed. Now it's my turn. Then he introduced cheerfully, "I am Lord Murong, 5 soul treasure secrets. Age treasure secret, Wuti Kijong. I am a disciple of the 5 palaces in the blue sacred palace. Is a prospected saint. Upon hearing this, everyone began to discuss incessantly. I heard he has offended quite a few people. It seems this person is famous for their sharp tongue, ha ha. Yeah, he is confronting all the big shots. This guy wants the male lead to concoct a female leader for him. They also said they wanted a better figure. What do you want to do? While everyone was criticizing Murong. Then Lan Fengjin shouted, Murong Zioran, you and Huo Zhang are good friends. He has already joined. I will have Qin Yan be the captain again. Come over here. Murong immediately praised. Master, you truly have a discerning eye for talent. Huo Lao San is also under the influence of Wugong. We are quite valuable now. Beside him, Qin Yan was speechless, thinking to himself, how did I just get added to the team so casually? In the blink of an eye, the dean said, Dear team leaders, now I will distribute the magic and mysterious pearls to you. Can absorb the energy of the Warcraft golden box. Please pay attention and keep it safe. At that moment, Xiao Yanlong and Sun Jinghao hinted at each other. Sun Jinghao stepped forward and said, Yuan Zhang, please expel Qin Yan from the Tianjiao Academy. He is a very malicious person. Just killed the crown prince of the Tianling Empire. I worry that he will be detrimental to our Tianjiao Academy students. Hearing this, Qin Yan's mood darkened. Neurotic disorder. The crown prince of the Tianling Empire wants to kill me, Yang Ming. Am I just waiting to die without resistance? Speaking of malice, your mentor, Xiao Yanlong, turning one's own father into a zombie. Be careful not to be treated like dogs by him. Xiao Yanlong immediately exclaimed in the tense atmosphere. Jehao, give him a long mouth. This person is talking nonsense. As my reputation, don't worry. I will support you. While speaking, Sun Jinghao has already rushed out, causing everyone to gasp in amazement. Oh my God! So fast! Sun Jinghao is indeed impressive. Get lost! Qin Yan shouted and threw a punch, sending Sun Jinghao flying back. At this moment, Sun Jinghao said with a lively atmosphere, Qin Yan, you are truly vicious. Watch how I deal with you. Lan Fengjin cheerfully reminded. Xiao Yanlong, Qin Yan has already controlled the strength. If you don't want to end up as messy as your classmates, it's better to stop early. Xiao Yanlong, the villain, complains first. Bin, you saw it too, right? Qin Yan's strikes lacked any mercy. This poses a significant threat to our entire Heavenly Teaching Institute. Please make a decision. Drive him out of the Heavenly Teaching Academy. The dean responded speechlessly. Xiao Yanlong, I don't want to. You were the one who urged Sun Jinghao to take action first. Didn't take me seriously. I still want to drive Qin Yan out of the Heavenly Academy. At this moment, Qin Yan looked on disdainfully and thought, HMPH, just playing with you a bit. Thinking this, he took out a pile of storage bags and laid them on the ground. At that moment, several mentors exclaimed in shock. Storage bag. Qin Yan actually has so many ready-made storage bags. I don't have a storage bag yet. At that moment, Qin Yan held a storage bag and said to Zhu Zai, My storage bag has a large capacity. Moreover, it has the ability of the low-blood blade master to celebrate our becoming teammates. I'll sell you 5 nine-tailed demon boxes. Zhu Zai realized there was no way out. I'd only have 3 9 restraining demon gold boxes. Onlookers watched with envy. Well, it looks pretty good. I wonder if I Hong Lion my Yu can get a storage bag. At this moment, Qin Yun chuckled. Seeing that you and I are on the same team, those too can be owed. Suddenly raised the storage bag and shouted boldly, "Today, as long as everyone opposes Xiao Yanglong staying in Tianjia, that is my good path, Qin Yun." As soon as the words fell, the audience erupted in excitement. "Crazy? But give me a cheaper price, please. Don't snatch." Xiao Yanglong looked at the tense atmosphere and cursed. "Kaya, immature." But Lan Fengjin came up behind him and teased. "But it really is quite frustrating. Isn't it?" "Uh-huh." This made Xiao Yanglong's face turn red with anger. At this moment, Murong also chimed in. "Did you see it? Xiao Yanglong, you can't stay here any longer." This only made Xiao Yanglong resort to threats. "Qin Yun, you wait for me." The dean beside him looked on, thinking, "Qin Yun is quite mischievous." Oh ho ho! 3 days later, the conversation shifted. Only listen to Murong speak. "We are going to the Blue Star Palace of the Tianqian Empire, engaged in the supplemental killing of the Warcraft trial. It's a pity about the wonderful environment here. This place is so much better than beast martial arts. I can't bear to leave." Qin Yun looked worried. At that time, Xiao Yanglong will probably pull some tricks. In the blink of an eye, Lan Fengjin spoke. The new Xuanwu Academy was personally organized by the ancestor Lan Xiao. You youngsters should help with the cleaning. He glanced over and said, "I knew you blue ghosts only know how to chat. Cannot clean. I can only ask the puppet for help." He then took out the puppet and said, "Go ahead, puppet master." Suddenly a beautiful puppet appeared before me. At this moment Zhu Zai began to explain. "This puppet person is worth over 300 million gold coins. The Blue Star Palace has refined quite a bit, specially sold to the nobles of various empires, for them to show off." Muro approached with a smile and said, "Yan Leadi, turn back and help me create a puppet. It's best if she has a good figure, the kind that can meet the needs." Qin Yan immediately blushed and scolded. "Truly shameless. How powerful is this sword from Lanzhou? The cancer's backside is all worn out. Be careful. Conflicts and battles between squads are tacitly accepted. The Academy is not responsible for your injuries or deaths. The team that comes in first will receive a reward at a designated location." Hearing Da Qinyan, he sighed. "No wonder the atmosphere today is completely different from before." At that moment, Dean Kellick said, "It is now morning. You must return here before dark. It's about time. You should set off now. Hurry up and kill more monsters." The mentor accompanied me into the new palace for the exam. As the mentor enters the new palace, at this moment an invigilator's screen appeared before everyone. Lan Fengjin looked on, guessing. "This must be something constructed by the soul of space." The dean explained. "The wild mountains outside are everywhere. Several glasses crafted from spatial souls were placed. The screen will be directly transmitted here." Upon hearing this, Xiao Yang felt a shock. "Oh no!" Sun Jinhao's words towards King Yan will be seen clearly. At that moment, Xiao Yulim walked over and asked, "Senior sister, what is the overall strength of the Tianjiao Academy?" Lan Fengjin replied to Xiao Yulan, "The overall strength is unknown. But you, Lan, your little husband, is my student. You also want to know about Qinyan's strength, right? Where is it?" This left Xiao Yulan feeling quite embarrassed. The scene shifts to a desolate mountain. Suddenly, Qinyan raised his hand to remind, "Be careful. There is a scent of the Warcraft here." A silent glanced before her. At this moment, The onlookers outside were discussing. "Are there monsters in this place?" "It's so spacious." Released the eye of space. "Then there must be. This trial is indeed very strict. Move aside." Kinyan suddenly pushed Muron away and shouted, "Quickly disperse. The tail hook is this big. There are many scorpions. The story isn't over yet." As the sound of rustling continued to emerge, a giant crab appeared before everyone. This startled several people, who immediately screamed, "Oh my gosh!" In the blink of an eye, Muron released his weapon, charged forward and asked, "Yan Leadi, how do I hit?" At this moment, King Yun was analyzing. Only close combat can inflict damage. But close combat is too dangerous. The toxicity of the venomous crab is extremely frightening. The tail hook is also quite strange, not easy to deal with. At that moment, Huo Zhang jumped out and said, "Captain, I can engage in close combat. How about I give it a try?" Qin Yun interrupted. "No, I'll first try its bottom." Suddenly, Qin Yun pushed off forcefully with his toes. With a swift motion, the arrow was shot out. Ziyu thought about piercing the crab's bottom hole, controlled its tail. Lao San can now launch a full-scale attack. Immediately shouted, "Gyulayasan, get ready to attack the poisonous crab that's chasing you. Remember to start strong." Meanwhile, on the other side, Murung dodged while saying, "I will tempt you. Midnight's end hook. No problem." Zizii responded and unleashed the harvest. "Break off all the crab's legs." Then they reminded, took care of it. Take out the magic box and the mysterious pearl. Obtain the golden box of the warcraft. At that moment, the proctors outside looked on in amazement. Ironclad poison crab, 8-tiered beasts. I can't believe I was defeated by someone so weak. Together with 3 young people with 5 bodies and 7 insects, we took them down. They cooperate extremely well, easily solved in a short time. Qin Yun's strength is indeed as impressive as rumored. As we look again at the desolate mountain, the howling sound comes from this side. They were surrounded by numerous magical beasts. At that moment, Murong Kaifan shouted, "A 9th-tier obsidian fox has also arrived." What a stroke of bad luck! Qin Yun instantly summoned the heavenly master totem and said, "There's no way out. Go for it." With that, he swiftly lifted the giant spirit king's hammer and charged forward. With the cooperation of several people, the monster was beaten helplessly. At that moment, Qin Yun suddenly noticed that there were others nearby. At this moment, Qin Yun was shocked. Not good. Sun Jinghao and the others came here, mostly wanting to kill in a fit of rage. Zhao Yanglong looked at the anxious face and thought, "This is truly a test. They didn't know there were eyes there." Yang Xiu looked over and asked, "Zhao Yanglong's student actually wants to rob others' belongings. Elder Kai, aren't you going out to stop it?" Zhao Yanglong immediately retorted. Qin Yan had previously fought Sun Jinghao. This is just a grudge between them. It has nothing to do with me. It was all their own decision. Zai looked at the water and sighed helplessly. The main gate is tightly closed. Opening the door requires the combined efforts of the 4 elders. It's too late. This crisis can only be resolved by themselves. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun and his companions were catching their breath in the secret path, finally settled it. Zhu Zai just consumed a lot of energy. Not so quickly regained stamina. We are essentially down one person's combat power. Meanwhile, Sun Jinghao said with a sly smile, "The timing is almost right." Just as one wave subsides, another rises. Just sent off a group of people. Another group has arrived. At this moment, Sun Jinghao has given up on power and influence. Qin, I will make you wish you were dead today. Don't expect anyone to come save you. In the wilderness, even if you die, also killed by the beasts, take action. With a command from Sun Jinghao, then several others swiftly drew their bows at them. At this moment, Sun Jinghao shouted while running, "Make sure not to hurt Zhu Zai. Otherwise, we won't have any fun tonight. Ah, surrender your resistance. Qin, my strength is enough to withstand the giant Spirit King's hammer. You can't hurt me. What is above? Revenge." Qin replied with a joyful smile. At this moment, the crowd watching praised, "This is wonderful. This kid named Qin is really interesting. Ah, I remember this young man." Xiao Yanglong's face was tense, gritting his teeth in anger. That damn Qin has such strange tricks. Looking back at the scene of the retaliatory explosion, in an instant Sun Jinghao was blasted away. At this moment Qin rushed forward, wielding a hammer. "Don't you dare lay a finger on my team member." With that, he swung the hammer down again on Sun Jinghao. The life ended with the cries of "Iya." Seeing Zhu Zai in danger, suddenly Qin rushed over and unleashed a gust of wind. A helmeted man was stopped. At this moment, the helmeted man looked shocked. Qin actually still has a chivalrous concern for this side. As Zhu Zai launched the attack, only the sound of a tragic scream was heard. The crowd watching at that moment exclaimed, "Several Yanyi dancers." And just like that they died. Sigh, what a pity. Qin and the others were really ruthless. The blue phoenix beside the wall expressed its discontent. Qin and the others are not being ruthless. They are the ones who are dead. I have seen them. All the old dancers are patrolling outside. What did they do in the past? Looking at Xiao Yanglong, he had a face full of bitterness. I never expected that. This time it was a loss because the trial planner didn't tell me about the outside world. Even if Qin were to kill someone, it also makes sense and is well founded. Bai has died, my dear. At that moment, Qin looked at him and said, "You are from the Blue Star Palace, right? Are you guys in cahoots with Sun Jinghao?" The white-haired man affirmed confidently, "Of course. We have always been following Sun Jinghao and his group. Help them block the demon beasts. Lion thought they could easily wipe you out. But I didn't expect that. You really have some skills." At that moment, Murong smiled and asked, If I'm not mistaken, it was Xiao Yanglong who sent you, wasn't it?" The white-haired man said unwillingly, "A person facing death. There's quite a lot to say." Here, Qin heard the shocking sound of buzzing. "Damn it, I didn't expect this to happen. The power of the Celestial Master consumes too much energy. I can't hold on much longer. There's still a bit of negative energy to hold off. Give the three of them time to escape. Then I might—" This is where it ends. Qin, my younger brother. Then Murong walked over and said, "You are indeed a renowned flower protector. Please take care of Xiao Zhu Zhu and escort her out. This is left to the two of us. Let me be a hero with Huo Zhang once in a while. Having a friend like you. Pretty good." Watching the tall figures of the two people, Qin replied indifferently, "What a joke. With none shall die." Stopped. With that they rushed forward. At that moment the white-haired man commanded, "You two deal with Qin. We'll take care of these three guys. Leave their lives." Using these three people to force Qin to hand over the spirit's script. As several people engaged in battle together, a voice suddenly came from the battlefield. "Saigon, You should hurry and open the door to the other palace." Zai Wufeng walked over and said coldly, "What if they die? I will kill Zio Yanglong on the spot." In the blink of an eye, several people had made their fortunes. At this moment, Murong complained, "You damned Qin Yun, let you take Zio Zuxu away. You insist on fighting. Now it's good. We are all trapped." At this moment, the white-haired man looked on and praised, "Qin Yun, you are indeed loyal and righteous. But now it can't be done. Regret is useless. I'll give you some time to think. Either hand over the spirit text. Either we take care of the girl beside you." One person responded in agreement. "That's right. We took turns dealing with him." Ah! Upon hearing this, the onlookers were all filled with anger. "Hey, what a shame! This old pervert is actually one of us." Lao Buziu. At that moment, Lan Fengjing shouted angrily, "Tsai Palace, you associate with such scum. The reason our Blue Star Palace has declined. There is some truth to it. This guy has really thick skin. Just when it was their own people, they still wanted to kill the male lead." In the blink of an eye, the Yuan family was invited to join again. At this moment, Qin Yun and the others protected Zhu Zai in the center. Qin Yun said, "I'm sorry, Zio Zhu, let you fall into such a perilous situation. We will surely protect you at all costs." Closing my eyes, I grasped the path, the hidden within the body. Minjiang, martial soul, Thunder Tiger, martial soul, I ask you to lend me your strength, even if using power that may exceed one's own capabilities will cause harm to oneself. But I can't accept any of them dying in front of me, even if it costs me my life. I will spare no effort. Please help me. Give me a chance." At this moment, the white-haired man mocked the gradually disappearing Lin Shui. "What's wrong, Qin Yan? Are you going to give up? It should have been like this long ago. You are not our match. For you and your friend. Hand over your soul obediently." Hearing Murong's reminder, "Don't believe him, even if I give him my soul. We can't survive either." However, no one noticed that. At this moment, Qin Yan is completing the fusion of 3 types of energy. Suddenly, Qin Yun said coldly, "If you want a soul, defeat me first, then we can talk." As soon as the words fell, a beam of light shot up into the sky. The smoke and dust dissipated. At this moment, Qin Yan appeared majestically before everyone. At that moment, the white-haired man shouted, "Quickly knock him out. This kid has awakened the diamond martial soul." As the two rushed towards Qin Yun waved his hand casually. With a quick search, I resolved the matter for one person. In the blink of an eye, another person was taken care of. How is that possible? At this moment, the white-haired man looked shocked. Meanwhile, Qin Yun had arrived behind him without him realizing it. With a swift strike of the knife, the white-haired man was taken away. End it all. Qin Yun propped himself up with his sword. "Pa, it's nothing now." "Great." Before the words were finished, he fell to the ground with a thud. The onlookers at this moment looked on in astonishment. He has broken through to the 5 bodies and 8 layers. Just broke through and can now attach the diamond martial spirit to the weapon. Purple gold thunderfire martial soul. He only has the purple gold fire martial soul, right? Perhaps he initially transferred his martial soul from the Danshin to his arm. The celestial master's arm has awakened the thunder martial soul. Impossible. His arm of the celestial master is dead. How did I suddenly awaken? The 16-year-old master of oddities, possessing the heavenly master totem, mastering a wealth of strange tales. This is simply a monster. At that moment, someone said, the mistress of the West Palace. "It's time for you to clean up your act." The one speaking is the Eastern Palace princess. At this moment Princess Zibong explained, although those 4 disciples went a bit too far. After all, it's also for the sake of the West Palace. Their original intention was good. Before the words were finished, Dong Gong Zhu interrupted. "Qin Yan is considered half of our Eastern Palace. This matter cannot just be settled like this." At that moment, Shui Hui hurriedly advised, "2 princesses. Calm down, calm down." Suddenly, Princess Nangbong walked over to remind us. "It seems someone is manipulating those 4 disciples. Aren't you going to find out the truth?" Upon hearing this, Zibong Master shouted angrily, "Are you saying that I instructed them? How can this be?" "They have returned," as someone shouted out. Only Qin Yan and a few others walked back. At this moment, Qin Yan looked at the familiar person with relief. Finally finished the task. "Qin Yan." At this moment, Zhao Yulan excitedly hugged Qin Yan and asked with concern, "The wounds on my body haven't healed yet. Why not take a break first?" Qin Yan explained, "In the end, the task must be completed, right?" At this moment, Lan Fengjin reached out. Everyone saw the evil deeds of Sun Jinhao and his group. "Your performance was excellent." Hearing Murongjin interject, "You really planted spies. Every move we make is under your watch." In adversity, one also finds harmony. In this way, the death of Sun Jinhao and those several ninefold warriors. It can also be made clear. Suddenly, Shui rushed over and said, "Your martial soul no longer holds great significance. Now return to the East Palace." Afterward, I entered the Holy Palace and became a blue saint. Can become stronger. At this moment, Princess Zhaigong also started to recruit people. "Qin Yan, I know you have some issues with our Zigong, but that was just a small misunderstanding. If compared to the foundation, it is still our West Palace that is the most powerful. I also know that you are at most half a disciple of the Eastern Palace. You might want to think about it. Let's also take a look inside our West Palace. How are you?" Upon hearing this, Shu Yi and Lan Fengjin exchanged worried glances. "You really have thick skin." But Murong remained indifferent. "What else do you want?" Of course, I refused. Unexpectedly, Qin Yan replied, "No, I will enter the Western Palace." Hearing this, Zhao Yulan asked nervously, "Qin Yan, are you serious?" Qin Yan replied with a cheerful smile, "I am of course serious. The wealthiest in the West Palace. Best conditions. Who will give me the best conditions?" After that, entering the Western Palace is fine too. The male lead wants to exchange the magic crystal box for a suspended point. But unexpectedly, they wouldn't accept it. The reason is still because of him. Upon hearing Qin Yan's words, the West Palace Master definitely replied, "No problem. You can enter the Western Palace at any time. But when you come, you must ensure that the martial soul is normal. I would like to confirm again. Are you really sure about this?" At this moment, Qin Yan definitely replied, "That's right. I want to enter the Western Palace." Challenge Zhao Yanglong. Take away his position as the chief disciple. Zhao Yanglong replied dismissively, "I can't be the chief anymore at 35. How could you possibly accomplish this in 3 years? Stop dreaming." At that moment, Murong looked worried. "Qin Yan, there's no need for that, right? If you push too hard, it will have an impact on you." This is what you said. Then Zhao Yulan spoke up. "A real man stands tall. Since you say so, if I can't defeat Zhao Yanglong in 2 years, I will take a break from you. Listen, Qin Yun replied confidently. Okay, 2 years later, I will worship at the Western Palace. Become a disciple of the Western Palace. Then challenge Xiao Yanglong. The scene shifts to show everyone flying. At this moment, Lan Fengjin praised. Well done. I knew you would succeed in this trial. At that moment, Qin Yun suddenly looked at the surface of the lake and thought. Something feels off. At this moment, Zai Wufeng explained. The heart awakened. Jiayang's insight. Only the bright sun hangs in the sky. This is an ancient prophecy. 9 suns without soul or spirit. Whenever one disappears, a natural disaster will occur. The black sun of Minjiang will appear, can devour everything. Qin Yun felt a sudden shock. The 9 suns lack both soul and spirit. And I hold the Jiayang divine spirit left by Master's sister. Could this be related to Teishi Jai Jai as well? At this moment, Zai Wufeng continued speaking. Will this prophecy come true? We cannot be sure either. Perhaps only the gods truly understand what is happening. Listen, everyone exclaimed in surprise. How could this happen? Will there really be a great disaster? Oh my gosh! At that moment, the director comforted. Take it easy. Let's head back to Xuanwu Academy first. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun was both cultivating and deep in thought. Teacher Du Gui said, I want to step into the 9 heavens. We must refine our inner principles. Continuously release the Vajra inner realm. All 3 sources must exert their full strength. I'm so tired. Just half an hour of extreme training. Just rest for a whole day. No wonder ye stepped into the 9th layer. Injured so many people. This won't work like this. Correct. I want to set up a better Jiayang giant spirit array. Qin Yun greeted. Everyone. I want to exchange some selection points. The 9th level magic crystal box in my possession can exchange for over 200 million points. Is anyone going together? At that moment, Zhu Zai turned to remind. Qin Yun, 3 great Xuanwu academies and the Blue Star Palace. Just announced. Exchange selected points with the magic crystal box. Each year, only 100 million selection points can be redeemed. They don't need the magic crystal boxes much anymore. That's why the exchange is restricted. There are no restrictions on the magic beast Golden Bullet. This nearly made Qin Yun spit out a mouthful of old blood. While hurriedly walking, he said, See a ghost. How could this happen? I'll go take a look now. Suddenly, Qin Yun chuckled and said, Fat Cat, can you make an exception? Let me exchange for more options. Pan Doe replied with a serious expression. To be honest, last time you redeemed many selection points. Let the other martial arts academies and Blue Star Palace know. Now you are entering the Jianjiao Academy. Go to other martial arts academies to exchange items. They established this regulation. There are reasons directed at you as well. After listening, Qin Yun thought. Ordinary students can exchange up to 20 to 30 million in a year. It's no wonder. All right then. I will exchange for one option. Upon hearing this, Pandoe sighed. Sigh, I'm sorry. Fat Cat, I can't help you with anything. But you can try your luck at the Q Indian flagship store. Additionally, the Fat Cat brings you something. Ni Ganlin Dan. It has a significant effect on martial artists who are new to the 5 bodies and 8 layers. About 10 days. You can overcome this stage. It won't have a negative impact. Qin Yun looked excited. This is the Wanpin Lingden. I knew you cared for me, Fat Cat. Suddenly, Lan Fengjin appeared and Qin Yun looked worried. It's been 5 days. After this, We also need to rely on nurturing internal support. Condense the diamond inner elixir. Can Kinyan really achieve this in such a short time? Suddenly, Kinyan opened his eyes wide. Not possible. Still not enough. Then complained. It's so hard, Sister Lan. I need 3 golden cordan. We need more resources. I must take a trip to the oddities store headquarters. After listening, Lan Fengjin helplessly said, originally, you could go to the dance battle venue to earn points. But last time's trial just passed. No one from the Tianjiao Academy wants to battle you anymore. This time, I'll go with you to the main store. It's considered serving the young wonder master. After listening, Kinyan asked again. Then Sister Lan, can you do me a favor? I want to create a grand formation. At that moment, Lan Fengjin scoffed. Don't give me orders. You little rascal. The male lead attends the exchange meeting. Just sat down when someone came looking for trouble. As the Blue Phoenix brocade was rejected, Kinyan hurriedly praised. Sister Lan, you are as beautiful and captivating as you are. Understanding and empathetic. Kind-hearted. The immortal descends to the mortal realm. Let's go. This left Lan Fengjin feeling helpless, but she agreed. The scene shifts to the Wonder Spirit Mountain. At this moment, Kinyan looked on inside. Finally arrived. This place has beautiful mountains, clear waters, and grand scenery. As the two entered, only heard Lan Fengjin say, some people come here, or perhaps forging weapons or something like that. Everyone needs to wait. I am a master of strange tales. Show the badge to meet Elder Zhuochuan directly. Suddenly, a person invited them. Please follow me this way. As the scene shifts, we hear Zhuochuan say, so that's how it is. Don't rush. I'll go see what kind of elixirs I can help you get. By the way, there is an exchange meeting here. A group of advanced alchemists is discussing refining materials. Are you interested in participating? As they walked, Kinyan said, this should be the place Elder Zhuochuan mentioned. The walls here can absorb energy. Even on-site refinement will not harm a single brick or tile. Suddenly glanced at Lan Fengjin's badge and was immediately struck. My badge is just bronze. What's the point of hanging up? As the two entered the grand hall, people were just discussing. You are a storyteller. So beautiful. Oh, master of extraordinary tales. This time true love is right. As soon as the two sat down, the hat man walked over and said, this brother, you don't seem to understand the rules very well. This seat is not for you. Kinyan scoffed and asked, on what basis? A big bearded man walked over and agreed. Only the strange tales master, the shadow that can only sit here. Kinyan took out the badge reluctantly and said, I am also a storyteller of strange tales. Now you can shut up, right? This left the two of them momentarily speechless. The big beard quickly changed the subject. Young Marvel Tales master, it seems that only Kinyan is present. I wonder if you are the one known as Kinyan. Kinyan quickly clasped his fists in a polite response. It is I. I was invited here by Elder Zhuochuan. At that moment, the hat-wearing man asked, little brother, the strange storyteller beside you, I feel very embarrassed. I have never heard of Lai, such a young senior female strange tale master. Lan Fengjin replied softly, I am at the Blue Spirit Star Palace. I was undergoing an assessment in the Martial Wilderness area. It's normal that you don't know. At that moment, the bald man next to him said, this is a spirit beast I killed over 10 days ago. These spirit monsters can cultivate. very good Vajra bone has arrived." Qin scoffed disdainfully. "A broken bone? What does it matter? The powerful feet of the spirit beast I killed are truly impressive. Even with Wan Pin's spirit energy, it might not be able to destroy it." At this moment, the bearded man asked, unwillingly said, "Should I take it out?" "None of your business. Why do you talk so much? You standing aside like an old man. Just honestly keep your mouth shut. Don't talk so much." At that moment, a yellow figure and a difficult one approached and said, "Qin, you are just a beginner. There was never a place for you. Yet you are so arrogant here. Listen, the Blue Phoenix brocade is coming over. This is not a hunters' exchange meeting. Since you believe you have the ability, then let's talk about our experiences with training. Don't flaunt your trophies either, no matter how good the materials are. What use is it if good spiritual energy cannot be refined?" At this moment, Huanyi chuckled and replied, "Even the beast's skin used to refine spirit monsters. It's all very difficult. Only the spirit master of strange tales. Dealing with the bones of spirit beasts is relatively easier. We are now using the beast skin of the spirit demon beast. Just make a protective armor for self-defense. To refine the skeletal spirit armor and other hard materials. Strength does not always please. You must listen to this." Lan Fengjin couldn't help but laugh. "No, since that's the case. So what are you going to do with these materials? You can't refine it again." Nan replied disdainfully, "Young lady, we are all advanced curiosity masters. So what if I want to show off? Some people don't even have the luxury to boast. Of course, I'm not talking about you. But this self-righteous little brat next to you. This is what others chimed in to agree. That's right. How can he stand on equal footing with us? The feelings of communication are gone. Qin, you are just a novice oddity master. Just stand out. The Grand Elder is indeed something. How to invite him over? Isn't his martial soul malfunctioning? It's just some peculiar tales from the court. On what basis do you think you can stand on equal footing with us? The male protagonist made a bet with everyone. It seems like we're about to make a big profit again." Listening to what everyone said, Qin, hands on her hips, angrily retorted, "The guy who just said there was a problem with my martial soul. You are truly ignorant. My martial spirit has been ready for a long time, and I already have 8. You can refine medium-grade talismans and medium-grade spiritual artifacts. You are only 5 body 6 heavy. Please take a look in the mirror. Examine your own abilities before speaking." He looked at the materials on the ground and said, "You all say these materials are difficult to refine. But in my opinion, this is not a difficult task at all. I can use these spirit monster bones to refine them into royal grade bone elixirs." "Listen," Qin said disdainfully. "Qin, although you are a martial arts genius, but the materials for refining are a peculiar path. We are all masters of the strange tales. You're bragging in front of us. Aren't you underestimating us a bit too much?" Qin moved his arm and said, "Don't believe it? Then I will demonstrate the refining process for you. If I could really do it, give me all the materials you brought. How is it? If I can't do it, I will share my top quality fire spirit pattern with everyone." Yue Ying had just landed when someone suddenly approached and advised her, "Everyone, for my sake, just forget about the bet we made earlier. Qin, don't be stubborn anymore. If we lose, your loss is quite significant." "Listen," Qin replied seriously. "Elder Shan, I am a person who keeps my promises. I keep my promises. But deep down I was overjoyed. If we could obtain the materials brought by these people, in the future, refining top-grade spirit tools will be much easier. At that moment, everyone felt the atmosphere shift. Okay, you keep your word. We all want to see. Yes, I agree. At this moment, the braided man asked, Kinyan, you need to mention a time. What if you take 10 years to finish? Listen, Kinyan replied with a smile. 10 Shichen time periods. I don't want to waste time either. Meanwhile, Lan Fengjin thought to herself, I really can't think of a way. Able to refine a royal grade bone vessel within 10 hours. At that moment, Zhuo Chuan casually flicked something out and said, Since we are going to refine the royal grade bone jar, then we also need Wang Pinling Tai. I'll provide it. With a thunderous sound, the spirit iron crashed to the ground. At this moment, Qin Yun thought in fear. Such a small thing. It actually weighs several hundred pounds. He awkwardly said, By the way, Grand Elder, please help me cut a piece of Wanpin spirit iron down. I only want something that weighs 20 jin. As soon as the words fell, Zhuo Chuan swiftly began his actions. Cut off a small piece of spirit iron. At that moment, Qin Yun reached out to control his thoughts. I will use the purple gold fire to wrap and conceal the Minjiang fire. The purple gold fire martial soul is rare. These people probably don't have many who truly understand the Zijin fire martial soul. It shouldn't be noticeable. As Qin Yun refines, the crowd looked on in astonishment. He has a purple gold fire martial soul. Is the flame more special? Can easily melt royal quality spirit iron and spirit beasts. Few possess the purple gold fire martial soul. We are not sure about the specifics. Perhaps this flame really has a subtle effect. If that's the case, then we were tricked by this guy. At that moment, Zhuo Chuan dispersed the crowd and said, all right. Let's go over there to hold a meeting. At this moment, Lan Fengjin thought to herself, Kinyan it should be fine. In the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed. A beautiful woman yawned and said, Sai, I thought he had great abilities. It's just like that. Others nodded in agreement. Isn't that so? Still relying on the fact that they control the soul of the court. Just gained the favor of the Grand Elder. Ultimately, it's just a novice wonder worker. Even my master, an advanced wonder worker, cannot do this. He can forget about achieving that. It's a good thing he lost. Our master can obtain the fire spirit of the upper court. At that moment, the two merged into one. At this moment, someone exclaimed, Quick look! There's some movement. This is Qin Yun lifting the giant spirit king's hammer frame. It smashed onto the fusion object in front. At this moment, Lan Fengjin looked on in astonishment. Are you saying that? He wielded the power of the giant spirit king's hammer combined with the strength of the celestial master's arm. Accelerated honing process, although theoretically feasible. But no one has ever done this. Zhuo Chuan chimed in. After all, there is the power of the totem. Moreover, there are very few people who are Qiwenshi. Such an attempt has probably never been seen before. Just listen to this. Qin Yun, as a storyteller, still has a bright future ahead. Half an hour has passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Yun finished the refining. At this moment, the people around were looking on in shock. It's impossible, right? How could he create it so quickly? He is talented in various fields. Only 16 years old. Just, Elder, we don't believe this is true. You need to be more accurate in your assessment. A little ghost with not a single hair grown. I don't believe he can refine Wan Pingbone steel. definitely cheating, just as the bald man reached out to touch. He suddenly recoiled and gritted his teeth. It's so hot. Lan Ping's residual inner heat from the bone steel had not yet dissipated. What did this woman say? The male lead was so frightened that his face turned pale. Qin Yun successfully completed the refining. At this moment Lan Fengjin said, "Everyone saw it right. We, Qin Yun, are masters in alchemy. We are nowhere near as good as him. Some people look down on others. He doesn't deserve to sit here." Looking at Qin Yun, she is very happy. "Accept the outcome of the bet. Everyone be cheerful." Upon hearing this, everyone took out their bets and sighed. Sigh. Losing is just losing. Forget it. Give, give, give. It's all for you. On this side, Qin Yun was putting away the spoils into the storage space while speaking. "Friend elder, thank you very much for your invitation. I'm very tired now. Can you arrange a place for me to rest?" Juachuan felt speechless and thought to himself, "It's truly both envy-inducing and hateful." He said casually, "Sure, I heard that someone is selling the Wu Yu in Lingdan. The seller and I have a good relationship. I wonder if you can take out so many gold coins." Qin Yun sighed. "I still need 300 million. At that moment, Lan Fengjin took out a purse and said, "I borrowed it for you." At this moment, Juo Chuan returned the money pouch. "I need to be away for a few days. My friend lives quite far away. You all wait patiently here." As Juachuan left, Lan Fengjin asked each other, "Qin Yun, how will you thank me?" Little did they know, Qin Yun turned and left. "Ah, what did you say?" "I didn't hear it." This infuriated Lan Fengjin. At that moment, Qin Yun said proudly, "By the way, Sister Lan, I previously mentioned wanting to refine a beast match formation. Let's start now." In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun said, "I want to create the Nine Suns Giant Spirit Array." Upon hearing this, Lan Fengjin exclaimed in surprise, "You actually understand the Jiayang Giant Spirit formation. The Nine Suns Giant Spirit Array has been lost. Originally, this was a very famous formation of our Blue Star Palace. Later, it was lost due to the strange Tails Gate. However, in some martial arts academies, there is still the ancient Jiayang Giant Spirit Array being passed down. How did you get it? Not even our Blue Star Palace has it. You can master it." "Listen," Qin Yun replied. "It was left to me by the Grand Tutor. That female Grand Chancellor, Anna, she is very strong. It is also very mysterious. Still very beautiful." "Listen," Lan Fengjin said seriously. "Qin Yun, I have to remind you of something. It means you. Sister Lan, I'm neither mysterious nor handsome, bro." Qin Yun was taken aback by this question. Quickly he changed the subject and said, "I'm going over there to take the master's exam. But in my heart I was thinking, Sister Lan feels just like a teacher compared to the Grand Tutor. But I really am a bit scared of her. Speaking of the Grand Tutor, if she could see my growth now, how wonderful that would be." An hour passed in the blink of an eye. Only then did Lan Fengjin speak. "I won't learn your Jiayang Juling formation for nothing. I will give you the invisible spirit script. Uniforms can attract shooting stars. Some small meteors contain a wealth of rare refining materials. It is still quite useful." "Listen," Qin Yun agreed. "Indeed, it's a good thing. I heard that not all falling meteors contain something inside. This requires a bit of luck." At this moment, Lan Fengjin instructed, "You are not allowed to share the invisible spirit script. If the Blue Star Palace finds out, I can only flee for my life." Juo Chuan hurried back and said, Sorry to keep you waiting. The transaction went very smoothly. This is the employee's elixir. You are lucky. If you wait a few more days, there won't be any left. You'll have to wait another year or two." Kinyan looked excited. "Thank you, elder. But in my heart I was thinking, I will go prepare the grand formation now. Hold on." Suddenly Zhuachuan called out to Kinyan. "Kinyan, after this exchange meeting, many people say you are pretending to be a pig while eating a tiger. If you are done with your matters, remember to take the exam for the Advanced Curiosities Specialist qualification." Upon hearing this, Kinyan was instantly astonished. Insan, so troublesome," Zhuo Chuan explained at a glance. "The treatment is very good. As long as you have time, I guarantee you can earn a lot of gold coins here. It's much safer than going out to hunt monsters. You can also entrust the materials you want here. What is something expensive? We can help you cover the cost." Upon hearing this, Kinyan quickly turned around and said, "All right. Please help me find a few employee elixirs, elder." Zhuo Chuan turned around and said to Keela, "It is possible, but it will take another year or two to obtain. After all, this is Wanpin Lingden. It's not that easy to refine, but I will pay more attention to it for you." "Good." I then went to take the exam. "Thank you, elder." Kinyan said this and ran to the side. 8 days have passed in the blink of an eye, as Kinyan completed his training. At this moment, Kinyan felt joy. The employee Lingden is really useful. Mingyang Ni Yuan, you have become a Vajra inner elixir. If I use the remaining 2 endogenous elixirs, perhaps it can compete with martial arts. Forget it. Go take the exam first. This trip wasn't a waste after all. The male protagonist uses a fire talisman crafted with ordinary spiritual script. Such great power exists. The iron chain from the double pot lid is about to tear the wall apart. As the scene shifts, Zhuo Chuan introduces, "I want to pass the assessment of a senior oddities master, to be able to refine high-quality spiritual talismans. Top-grade spiritual artifact, Shankin Spirit Array." In the blink of an eye, Kinyan held the talisman paper and thought, "This talisman paper has been soaked in blood. It's perfect for me to refine the fire talisman." At this moment, the man in the hat looked over and asked, "Little brother, you use ordinary spiritual text. Aren't you worried that the fire talisman won't meet the standards?" Kinyan replied indifferently, "No need. I think I can subdue it with ordinary spirit writing. It can also produce very powerful talismans." The hat man scoffed. "HMPH. Boastful talk. Even if the class has several groups of spirit texts, create high-quality spiritual talismans. But if the power is not enough, still can't get through." Kinyan, however, replied indifferently, "I want to see it too. Can I really pass the test?" In the blink of an eye, Zhuachuan said, "Now let's begin the inspection." I threw everyone's talismans into the furnace in front of me. Cover the lid. If the power of the talisman is sufficient, you can push the lid of the furnace. At this moment, Kinyan listened silently, lost in thought. Only Elder Zhuachuan could come up with such a ridiculous test. It was Kinyan's turn for the talisman. As the talisman enters the pot, suddenly the lid was flipped open with a thud. At that moment, Hatman looked at the startling sound with a face full of cold sweat. The wall is almost falling apart. Such strength! Is this guy really? Could it be? At that moment, Zhuo Chuan announced, "Kinyan, first round passed." "Listen," the hat man asked in astonishment. "Little brother, you should have said it earlier. So you are the Prince of Tianqin. Qin Yan replied nonchalantly. You didn't ask either. 3 days later, Qin Yan obtained the badge of a senior Marvel Master. At this moment, Qin Yan was spinning around proudly next to Lan Fengjin. This made Lan Fengjin extremely angry. Only sounds can be heard from inside the house. Go to hell. Ah, 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 ah. In a blink, Qin Yan lay lifeless on the ground. Lan Fengjin asked softly, I heard you made a helper for the exam. Qin Yan replied, bought by Elder Shuachun. He said it can be kept as a souvenir. Wait until I become famous in the future. It's really valuable now. Listen, Lan Fengjin praised. He said this, I just think highly of you. This is quite rare. The two walked side by side, chatting. I haven't seen Zai for several days. I miss her so much. You can't even save your own business. You really are not cute at all, Junior. Suddenly, Zhu Zai appeared swaying in front of the two. At this moment, Qin Yan looked on in astonishment. Just in time, Zai is here. At that moment, Zhu Zai let out a gasp. Lan Fengjin hurriedly supported her and asked, What happened during the Purple Night? Huo Zhang and Muon Zio are there. Listen, Zhu Zai replied weakly. Sister Lan, we encountered a very strong opponent at the dance battle. They used secret techniques. Our martial soul is severely injured, causing the martial soul to disconnect from our bodies. Qin Yan asked anxiously, What about the others? Zhu Zai explained. Huo, Zhang, and Mu Rong are both seriously injured. Was sent to another place for treatment. At that moment, Lan Fengjin comforted while checking. Don't rush. I'll investigate a bit. Sit tight. As Lan Fengjin checked, she exclaimed in surprise as she busily worked. The ultimate skills of Nangon. Duanhan Palm, at the edge of the world mastering martial arts. Those who can learn this martial art. In the Nangon, their status is very high. As far as I know, there is no one like that at the Tianjiao Institute. At this moment, Zhu Zai explained, That person is not from the Heavenly Teaching Institute. I don't know if he is from the Blue Star Palace. Looks very young. Zhuzhan Hui, listening to Lan Fengjin, she replied with a serious expression, Zhu Zhanghui is indeed from the Blue Star Palace, a disciple in the Nangon. He was 12 years old, because he killed more than 10 outer sect disciples, and was imprisoned. I didn't expect to be released so soon. It was only 6 years of imprisonment. We originally agreed on 60 years. He comforted her. Purple Night, the injury to your martial soul. I will find a way to help you. Don't worry too much for now. But this takes time. It may take a few years. That elder can only leave the retreat. After listening, Zhu Zai felt relieved. If I could truly restore my martial soul, waiting a few years is not a problem. At that moment, Qin Yan interrupted. Wait a minute. Maybe I have a way. Since it is the spiritual power of the broken soul palm, let your martial spirit scatter. Loss of sensation. Then I can give it a try. Let you achieve inner source synergy. As soon as these words were spoken, the scene suddenly fell silent. Qin Yan quickly explained, You are weak now. It is because I cannot absorb spiritual energy. The inner source has lost its power, even if someone transfers their internal energy to you. Internal energy exhausted, you will still become weak. After I helped your inner source energy, no need to rely on martial souls. Spiritual veins and internal sources can also absorb spiritual energy into the body. After listening, Lan Fengjin confidently said, Yes, very true. But can you really help others with their inner wisdom? Is there such a thing? How powerful is the male lead now? Merely releasing the aura from one's body just sent the opponent flying out. Looking at the clear clouds again. I have studied soul refinement. Is the knowledge related to martial souls interconnected? In the blink of an eye, King Yan was healing. Lan Fengjing watched and thought to herself. He let his spiritual energy establish a connection with Zeai's inner source, controlling the inner rotation of the purple night. Legend: some elders with profound martial arts skills. It can also help the younger generation with inner wisdom. Kekinian is not yet 20 years old. As King Yan heals, Zhu Zai suddenly opened her eyes. At this moment, King Yan said, "All right, try to let the internal source in your danshan continue to breathe." In an instant, Zhu Zai exclaimed excitedly, "I did it, and very fast. You absorb spiritual energy much faster than before. If the martial soul improves, the absorption will be greater. Only the inner source can connect deeply. Only by reaching this state." At that moment, King Yan spoke up. "Purple Night, after your internal source is fully charged with energy, just try to control your inner energy. Gather the scattered martial souls together. Then force out the power of the soul-cutting palm that does not belong to you. If all goes well, when will your martial soul awaken? Should be able to recover." After listening, Zhu Zai was very happy. "Thank you." King Yan immediately turned and asked, "By the way, Sister Lan, do you think they all came to the star spiral array? Do you just want to earn some extra points?" Lan Fengjin speculated. "It may also be for fame. Actually, I don't know much about him. But in the battle arena, people were injured. You need to be punished, don't you?" Zhu Zai replied helplessly after listening. "Not available. He was punished. Rules of the dance battle. Valid only for students of the Xianxia Dance Academy." King Yan listened in astonishment. "Then you would have suffered in vain, wouldn't you?" At this moment, Zhu Zai explained again. "Yuo Zhang and Mu Rong, although they were injured, but my soul is unharmed. Zhu Zhanghui also has a sturdy build. I pose the greatest threat to him. That's why he targeted me." At that moment, Lan Fengjin instructed, "Purple Night, you should go back to your room and rest. As for that Zhu Zhanghui, we will find a way to deal with him." King Yan chimed in, "Yes, just leave it to us." As the scene shifts, Lan Fengjin calls out, "King Yan, don't be impulsive. If you are a student of the Xianxia Dance Academy, in the competition, severely injuring or even killing an opponent, I am about to be locked in the dungeon of the Xianxia Dance Academy." King Yan replied angrily, "Not possible. I must go." Lan Fengjin reminded again, "The shortest time needs to be locked up for 2 months. The longest 50 years. I want to come out early. You can use gold coins to reduce your prison time." In the blink of an eye, we arrived at the registration desk. At this moment, Lan Fengjin reminded, "King Yan, have you thought it through? 10 million gold can reduce a year. Let's take a long-term view on this." King Yan, however, was completely unconcerned. "This dance battle venue is a place solely for earning gold coins. As long as there are gold coins, can reduce or mitigate the penalty. Then I don't have to worry at all." At this moment, the registrar introduced, "King Yan, you are just a novice fighter now. Winning 10 consecutive matches qualifies you as a mid-level fighter." Then he won 10 consecutive battles against intermediate fighters. Only by doing so can one become a high-level fighter. By analogy, the highest level is the king-level fighter. Only King Yan asked, "It seems there is a rule. As long as I challenge the intermediate fighter, I can immediately become a mid-level fighter. Is that so? Listen, the registrar affirmed. Not bad. But now all the intermediate fighters, they are all outsiders from the academy. The challenge of poor reputation is very detrimental to you. King Yun, however, did not care. It's no problem. Can I challenge Zhu Zhanhui? The registrar replied. Zhu Zhanhui is a senior fighter. You still can't challenge him. The blue phoenix brocade by the side reminded. You want to help your teammates settle the score in the arena. We can only proceed step by step. Listen, King Yan replied. It's okay. This is 100,000 gold coins. Please arrange for someone for me now. The scene shifts to the dance battle arena. Only heard the referee call out. Next scene. Junior fighter King Yan and intermediate fighter Lu Guang. Please take the stage. Everyone began to discuss among themselves. King Yan is now a student at the new dance academy. You mustn't seriously injure others. Isn't he going to feel very constrained coming here? Is that the King Yan who just entered the Wuti Bajang? This guy came to join the fun too. Is he here to earn some extra points? He is only 16 years old. Why is he so flexible? Dare to come here. There's a show to watch. King Yun's duel. It will definitely be exciting. This guy. But a few princes have been severely injured. Now princes from other countries are terrified of him. It's simply the Prince Crusher. Allah! It is King Yun. It is King Yun. I am so handsome. King Yun, keep it up. The referee announced. Attention contestants. Start. As soon as the words fell, Lu Guang charged forward with a clenched fist. Zai Can King Yun stood still and suddenly released her aura. In an instant, Lu Guang was sent flying out. With a thud, it fell beneath the arena. This bald man takes advantage of the male lead's inability to hurt him. Constantly provoking. Unexpectedly, the male lead outsmarted and defeated them in an instant. As Lu Guang stepped down from the arena, the judge announced, Lu Guanbai, King Yan wins. Upon hearing this, the entire venue instantly erupted. Very strong. King Yan also did not break the rules. He has triumphed. Receive a reward of 1,000,000 points. At this moment, King Yan felt relieved and thought to herself, strategy succeeded. You can continue the challenge. Then the referee announced, next one, Gao Hu. Upon hearing this, everyone present became restless again. Gao Hu, isn't this the general of the Tianling Empire? He is a student of Lingshuan Martial Academy, but he is also a general of the Tianling Empire. It is said that soon one can step into the 5 bodies and 9 layers. Gao Hu is the ultimate fighter with 9 consecutive victories. Defeat King Yun. He is a high-level fighter now. His martial soul is the golden armor martial soul. At this moment, King Yun gazed at Gao Hu silently. After killing Prince Tianling, it's the first time meeting someone from Tianling. At this moment, Gao Hu proudly said, King Yun, others are afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. You are merely relying on the binding talisman and advance spiritual energy. Only then can one possess the strength to rival the 5 elements and 9 levels. No use of these in the competition. You are no match for me at all. After listening, King Yun scoffed. You are really confident. As confident as your prince. After listening, Gao Hu replied indifferently, I admit, you are indeed a good storyteller, but with your limited talent. Zhao Yuan doesn't care about you at all. That scoundrel only values the strange tales you possess. King Yun immediately asked angrily, You just scolded Yuan. Gao Hu confidently reached out. Not bad. I am just scolding Xiao Yulan. Xiao Yulan is just a shameless person. What's wrong with me scolding her? What can you do to me? In this arena, you cannot hurt me. Bastard. This made King Yun gnash her teeth in anger. At this moment, Gao Hu looked on and teased. Boo, I'm upset. Aha, King Yun, your mother is just a worthless woman from the countryside. A village girl became the Empress of Tianqin. And you, there is also lowly blood flowing within. At this moment, the onlookers couldn't hold back and shouted out, Kinyan, she insults your wife and your mother like this. You must kill her. Kinyan, don't think about it too much. Break her down. Kill her. Kill her. As the referee announced the start of the match, suddenly, King Yan released a powerful aura. Gao Hu looked again, his thoughts unchanged, and smiled brightly. Useless. Your little tricks are just a breeze to me. At this moment, the audience started to heckle again. King Yan, kill her. Kill her. She insulted your family like that. Are you really just going to endure this? He is a man. Don't be a coward. King Yan, shrinking turtle. Chai turtle. King Yan is a coward. Big coward. Gao Hu reaches out and forms an axe. With a thud, it struck towards King Yan. Then came another sweeping mockery. Your strength is far greater than I anticipated. But a tiger without teeth is just that. As King Yan was forced to withdraw, she provocatively spoke out. The kid doesn't look like it. This person's bloodline is indeed somewhat willful. At this moment, the crowd around began to shout again. This Gao Hu is truly disgusting. What is it? This is truly despicable. He just wants to anger King Yan. Gao Hu continued to speak. King Yan, you tell Xiao Yulan. Don't let her step into our heavenly spirit empire. Otherwise, we will definitely capture her. Then, upon hearing this, King Yan instantly unleashed the Titan kill. Suddenly, energy enveloped the two of them. At this moment, King Yan thought while attacking, taking advantage of her being dazed by my Titan's strike. Let me use the divine jade technique to control her movements. You need to know, using weapons during the competition is against the rules. As soon as Gao Hu took out his weapon, the referee hurriedly reminded, Foul. At this moment, King Yan had a sly smile on her face. I just want you to break the rules, aha. With that, he instantly unleashed the 6 styles of dragon break, instantly dealt with Gao Hu. At this moment, King Yan deliberately panted as she explained. She suddenly used a weapon. Breaking the rules put my life in danger, so I had to deal with her quickly. The judge was momentarily speechless, thinking to himself, this sunny cloud. He suddenly announced loudly, Gao Hu during the competition. Improper use of weapons. King Yan fights back for self-preservation. There was no violation of the rules. King Yan won the victory in this competition. In the blink of an eye, King Yan exclaimed in surprise, 500 million gold coins. To take down that bastard Zhu Zhanghui. I want to spend so many gold coins. Listening to Balan Fengjin speak. Killing him would result in a 50-year sentence. Take him out. Sentenced to imprisonment for 20 to 30 years. It's only 200 or 300 million. Zhu Zhanghui possesses a legendary martial spirit. I don't know what it is specifically. You need to think it through. King Yan immediately pressed for answers. Sister Lan, listening to King Yan's words. Lan Fengjin raised her hand to indicate. I only have 300 million now. If you have the thought of taking down Zhu Zhanghui, I will temporarily lend you this gold coin. Then I'll help you raise 200 million gold coins. Jian Beqingyan felt embarrassed and thought to herself, "Sigh, I really don't know how to repay Sister Lan's favor, to offer oneself completely. I I already have a wife. It's best not to return it." He awkwardly replied, "I'm really sorry. I borrowed 300 million gold coins from you before. Now you have used up the remaining gold coins." At that moment, Lan Fengjin replied helplessly, "You call me Sister Lan now. Can I not help you?" In an instant, with a face full of anger, said, "Moreover, Zhu Zhan he knew what was in the cargo. Nurong and Zai are my students." Yet such heavy-handedness is rejected, provoking the majesty of Lan Fengjin. "You must teach her a harsh lesson." At this moment, King Yan looked at Ba with a fierce expression, thinking, "It turns out she was helping herself." The scene shifts to show King Yan in a new outfit. At that moment, the registrar greeted her warmly. "King Yan, you're here. Thanks to you, my entry today sold very well." King Yan touched her head and laughed awkwardly. "In that case, then don't take my gold coins. Just arrange my opponent directly." "How is it?" Upon hearing this, the registrar hurriedly refused. "This won't do. I don't have that right. The coins still need to be collected." This left King Yan speechless. What a stingy person! He then took out the gold card and said, "Senior, I have 3 million selection points in my hand. Can I challenge 3 people at once?" The registrar took it and said with a worried expression, "There just happened to be 3 disciples from the Eastern Palace with 5 body and 8-fold skills. I want to start the battle at noon. However, but can you really win?" King Yun walked alongside, offering comforting words. "As long as you believe in me, senior." Suddenly, Lan Fengjin shouted angrily, "Is your brain stuck in a door? The dance battle venue has strict limitations. You are not a match for the 3 5-body 8-layer fighters at all." Hearing this, King Yun replied awkwardly, "Don't worry. If you can't win, I can only concede in the end. Cannot die." However, Lan Fengjin stated, "The problem is, if you die, who do I ask for my money?" At that moment, Zhu Zai comforted from the side, "Don't be angry any more. Has everyone not eaten yet? Come eat something. I made it myself. There are many. Eat slowly." King Yun took a bite and exclaimed in surprise, Sai Yi, your skills are truly exceptional. So virtuous." Lan Fengjin interrupted, "Let's not change the topic to grades." At this moment, Zhu Zai said with a worried expression, "Actually, those 3 disciples of the Eastern Palace, I've heard some things too. They are triplets. Spiritual connection. A group of us went up. They might not be able to defeat them." Hearing this, King Yun was astonished. That damn guy said they aren't that strong. Is it really deceiving children?" At this moment, Zhu Zai suggested, "Let's go cancel this competition. It's not too late." Little did King Yan care, saying, "So what? Such competitions only make me look forward to it even more." Then he said with a joking expression, "Since you all have decided that I will lose, so what if I win? Just kiss me. How is it?" Seeing King Yun being so inappropriate, Lan Fengjin went up and slapped him. "What time is it that we're still judging?" King Yun, however, was furious. "HMPH, who made you all think I wouldn't win? Since you really think so, then let's make a bet. Anyway, I won't win. You don't have to kiss me either." "Listen," Lan Fengjin agreed. "But if you lose, just make us a few talismans." At this moment, King Yan revealed a charming smile, thinking to herself, "Great! When the time comes," the scene shifts to the arena. At this moment, The referee announces, King Yun and the three must make their entrance. As soon as the voice fell, the entire venue erupted again. King Yun is really something else. Yesterday, I just earned 2 million in lottery tickets. Today, it's actually going to be sent out. Youthful recklessness, desiring quick success and instant benefits. If King Yun wins, that is a choice of 3 million. As the three beautiful women take the stage, the audience began to discuss. San has appeared. These three beauties always show up so late. Is it to put psychological pressure on the opponent? King Yan can be beaten by them. You should be very happy. At this moment, King Yan looked at her blushing little face and thought, why are they all women? Still the beautiful triplets. They should be called the three essentials. Three captivating jewels. At that moment, Dai Yao reached out and said, King Yan, although you decided to go to the West Palace, but we will still be fellow disciples in the future. King Yan felt relieved and thought to herself, the disciples of the Eastern Palace are indeed much more humble. At this moment, Yao wanted to speak. King Yan, today we will definitely win against you. We also don't want to hurt you in this competition. In order to avoid being questioned by your wife later, you might as well admit defeat. We will give you 300,000 gold coins. This way, your losses can be minimized a bit. The male lead finally got what he desired. Is this the way to reach the peak of life? Listening to Yao's words, King Yan replied, it's nothing. Even if I can't defeat you all, you won't be hurt by them either. San Yao Yi Ting Men Meng said fiercely, just don't regret it. At that moment, Lan Fengjin on the stands helplessly thought, King Yan better not let his guard down just because he sees a beautiful woman. As the referee announced the start of the match, King Yan was instantly surrounded by three people. At the same time, they launched an attack against him. King Yan is not the jealous type either, hastily dodging and avoiding. Just as King Yan was about to dodge away, suddenly a jolt of fear surged through me. How did the attack merge? How could this happen? Meanwhile, the combined attack was directed towards him. It exploded with a bang. Looking at King Yan swaying at the edge of the arena, she thought, fortunately, I have been careful to maintain balance. Can't be so passive. Take the initiative. Thinking of this, I charged forward. At that moment, glanced and said with a playful look, I'm sorry, sweetheart. As soon as the words were spoken, an attack was launched. At that moment, King Yan thought to herself, oh my, what an enchanting potion. Clearly, it was 3 bombs. At this moment, Lan Fengjin looked at the scene and thought, this is the target that San Yao is skilled at attacking. Death triangle formation. If you don't react quickly, you'll be broken, or be exhausted to death. If I go to hit one of them, the 3 of them will achieve inner peace together. Fiery attack also includes random explosions. Watching the sunny clouds on the field, I keep dodging my thoughts. Their mental strength is very strong. Using mental power to control inner peace. Not right. They are not telepathic at all, but rather communicate secretly with mental power. Then I will use a stronger mental power. Destroy their spiritual power triangle formation. Hindering fusion and communication, a sudden explosion released the momentum from within. Watch how I break your connections apart. The 3 people's attacks were blocked by King Yan in an instant. At this moment, Dayao looked on in astonishment. San Yao reminded them, not good. Move quickly. Don't stand in the same place. At that moment, King Yan had already arrived next to Dayao. With a bang, the force released from him sent him flying out. With a thud, it fell to the ground beneath the arena. At this moment King Yan looked in astonishment. "That leaves only two." At that moment Yao said, "There's no need to compete any more. We San now lost." The referee quickly announced that King Yan had won. At this moment Yao stepped forward politely. "We admit defeat willingly. Thank you for showing mercy. I'm not seriously hurt." King Yan, however, turned away nonchalantly and said, "It's nothing. I also admire you very much. I just have strong mental power. The giant god killer is specifically targeting you." Suddenly I heard the registrar say, "I'll arrange something easier for you next. In the evening you are ready to go on stage. You are Du Laobui's student. I will give you a little bit of care." And so Zhu Zian silently asked, "Sister Lan, do we really want to clear Kinking Cloud?" Ting Ba Lan Fengjing replied with an unhappy expression, "If we don't agree to him, he must be saying all day that we don't keep our promises. Although we are women, but one shouldn't be untrustworthy like some men. What are you afraid of? Isn't it just lightly dressed? What's the big deal? Anyway, only the three of us know. He also doesn't dare to speak carelessly everywhere. His wife is quite formidable. If Xiao Yulan knew, he just got really unlucky, hearing Bazuzian cover her small mouth and say, 'Fortunately, we didn't agree to kiss him. Otherwise, just—'" At that moment, King Yan turned and asked, "What are you talking about?" Lan Fengjing replied, "It's still not talking about your brother. Say you know to take advantage of their fierce formation and release your spiritual power. Use your mental strength to find their formation's weaknesses." Hearing the domineering Zhu Zian turn, and Leave said, "Let's go. Later in the evening I have another one." Zhu Zian watched King Yan leave, lost in thought. Great! She must have forgotten about the bet. The dance battle has come to an end. King Yan stretched her blue waist and said, "The 5 forms and 8 styles of the Dance Academy aren't actually that impressive. Earn another 3,000,000 selection points. I can challenge advanced fighters." Had a duel with Zhu Zhanghui. Suddenly he turned around and said, "I said, 2 beautiful women. Did you forget something?" In the blink of an eye, King Yan sat in the chair, boasting proudly, all right, all right. It's time to fulfill the promise. You can start now." As soon as the words fell, 2 beautiful women approached. He kissed King Yan gently. At this moment King Yan felt refreshed and invigorated. The whole person floated up. King Yan also kissed passionately. As soon as it was over, King Yan excitedly shouted, "Our wager is now over. Sai Yan O, your face is better than Lan Jai's." Zhu Zian immediately turned red and left. I returned to the hotel room. My martial soul hasn't fully recovered yet. The 3 beauties were conquered by the male lead. I actually have to follow her to practice the attire. As Zhu Zian left, at that moment Lan Fengjin joked, "Ziyan is young, and she has fair skin and beautiful looks." The male partner approaches. "Pit black. It's not that beautiful or captivating. You must really like these cute girls, right?" After listening, King Yan leaned down and said, "That may not be the case. Sister Lan is still the best. Free-spirited enough, direct enough. I just like you like this. However, I didn't expect Ziyan to have a feminine side as well. I have always seen her as a little sister. Never noticed." After listening, Lan Fengjin explained, "She is in the throes of youthful infatuation. You rascal. I don't understand women at all. She is the same age as you. I thought you only liked those who are fair and gentle. Do you really like a rough woman like me?" After listening, King Yan replied sincerely, "To be honest, I like them all." This left Lan Fengjin momentarily speechless. "You can't be a scumbag, can you?" At that moment, San was seen walking towards them. The three of them bowed simultaneously. Below, Sister Lan. At that moment, Lan Fengjin asked lightly, "Speak. What is it?" Suddenly, Da pointed at King Yan. "King Yan, we will follow you." Lan Fengjin was taken aback and asked, "Have the three of you been knocked silly by King Yan? You are disciples of the Eastern Palace. A boundless future. You just casually follow a little ghost like this." After listening, he explained the main points. "Sister Lan, please understand us. You should be clear. We are in the Eastern Palace. The future is very limited. We all cultivate our mental strength. However, there aren't many masters in this regard in the Eastern Palace." Walked up to King Yan and echoed, "However, the Lord is still young. Physical strength? Ah, no. But in terms of mental strength, they are very strong. We followed him. Only benefits. There are no downsides." After listening, Lan Fengjin helplessly said, "All right. King Yan really is a lucky guy." At this moment, King Yan pretended to refuse. I am very busy. I don't have time to guide your training. And I don't like trouble either. Loving someone brings freedom and ease. You should reconsider this decision." Upon hearing this, the three quickly expressed their agreement. "We won't trouble you. Just let us follow you. Even if Sweetheart Monarch doesn't guide us, we have no complaints either. When you need us, as long as we can receive the notification, I'll serve you right away." This suddenly made King Yan feel shy. At this moment, the main character continued to speak. "Each of us has 50 million suspended points. If my sweetheart needs it, we will keep challenging you. I concede to you. The main point is that, Your Excellency." At that moment, Lan Fengjin beside him listened helplessly and thought, "It's good. However, King Yan will probably refuse." Just as I finished my thought, I heard King Yan exclaim excitedly, That's great. You will challenge me tomorrow. Just let me earn 3 million more, and I'll be fine. I agree to let you follow me. All right, all right. If in front of others. Don't be so forgetful." Then he quietly said again, "By the way, please help me look into the matter of Zhu Zhanghui, especially." A few people hurriedly left upon hearing this. "Good. Let's go now." This made King Yan incredibly happy. In the blink of an eye, King Yan thought to herself while controlling, "At this stage, I can only go every day to stimulate Jinggang and replenish my inner energy. Indeed, if there are no elixirs to consume, the process will take much longer." Lan Fengjin happily said, "Zai Yi, Zai Yi. I bet 300 million gold coins. King Yan's little ghost one this time. I have obtained 600 million gold coins." Listening to the blood-red knight echoing, "I bet 50 million. One back 100 million." The two immediately became very happy. The big medicine on the side said to King Yan, "I suspect Zhu Zhongyui's martial soul is very likely a totem martial soul. It is the awakened martial soul. There are totemic inscriptions inside. Because I heard that Zhu Zhanghui is in prison. Used a terrifying totem martial art. Your Highness, there are also rumors that Zhu Zhanghui came to the dance, battled just for you. He wants to defeat you, then possess your lady." Suddenly, Lan Fengjin walked over and asked, "Little devil, what's wrong with you? Your blue ranking. Win 300 million gold coins. Just rest assured and take care of Zhu Zhanghui. I will redeem you then." Listen, there are 3 reminders. My lord, be careful. Zhu Zhonghui has always concealed his powerful influence in the 9 layers of the body. His soul-severing palm should not be underestimated. Yao jumped out and echoed. That's right. Additionally, he will definitely guard against the Lord's giant god strike. Lan Fengjin watched the celestial scene before her. This is no ordinary pursuit. I am truly fortunate in love. He turned and left. King Yan, I returned to the Blue Star Palace. Zhu Zhonghui was released. I always feel that things are not as simple as they seem. These days, remember to study hard with Du Gui. This guy challenges the male lead. It turns out it was to devour his totem to advance in martial arts. Suddenly, King Yan exclaimed in confusion. Yan Guangqun and the Fire Cloud Division, they are all advanced martial arts. I've mastered it all to perfection. However, I can never seem to master these 2 martial arts to perfection. Hearing Du Gui analyze. Gas explosive bow. 60 techniques of Jianfeng and over 60 techniques of Duanlong. All need to possess a certain level of cultivation. Only by mastering can one reach a higher level. At that moment, King Yan looked worried. Current stage. My internal energy is limited. Once it's used, it's gone. I can only use it for a moment. At this moment, Du Gui said, I have a bold idea. Do you want to give it a try? 3 days later, King Yun walked while thinking to herself, why hasn't Lan Jai returned yet? Just thought of this. Only then did Lan Fengjing appear before him. He then said with a serious expression, King Yan, let's cancel the competition. I heard some news. Now the Blue Star Palace is letting Zhu Zhonghui challenge you. They want Zhu Zhonghui to devour your totem. After listening, King Yun thought, I also have the idea of extracting the Zhu Zhonghui totem marshal's soul. I didn't expect he had this plan as well. Lan Fengjing said helplessly, the owners of the 2 totem marshal's souls are in conflict. The totem of the defeated will enter the body of the saint on its own. If we lose, the talisman you once took pride in is gone. Forget it. King Yan, the risk is too great. Suddenly, King Yan grabbed his hand, said confidently, you have to believe me. Blue Realm, as the sunny clouds take the stage. At this moment, King Yan thought to herself, I didn't expect so many people to come and watch at the Blue Star Palace. Are they certain that I will lose today? Elder Shuachuan has arrived. Even Zio Yanlong has come. Teacher Yang has arrived. But what about Yu Lan? Where is Yu Lan? Has Yu Lan not come? At that moment, Zhu Zhonghui walked over. At this moment, King Yun thought to herself, if a person has a totem but no totem spirit, so from now on, very likely to be consumed by the totem, become a madman, will become a killer, will this person. Just as he was about to finish his thought, Zhu Zhonghui took out a finger and said, King Yan, after our duel, the fame and glory you have gained, including Zio Yulan, the city will belong to me. Look at what this is. King Yan gritted her teeth, sensing the tension in the air. That is a disaster within. Zhu Zhonghui mocked again. I really can't understand that big fool. This kind of guy. How did you enter the Beast Martial Palace? It truly insults the name of Beast Martial Palace. The little girl of happiness was also severely injured by my 5 souls. This life has been ruined. After defeating you, I will take good care of Zio Yulan. I want to ruthlessly trample this arrogant little brat. At this moment in the observation platform, Princess Nan looked and said, At Huey, this child, the temper is a bit fiery, but he is the strongest 5-body spirit of our Nangon clan. The person next to him agreed. if he can defeat King Yun, so he is very likely to step into the five realms. A five-path realm at such a young age. Even in the Blue Star Palace, it's rare to see. At this moment, there was a murmur of discussion among the audience. Look at Zhu Zhanghui's body. A pale white mist emerged. That is the energy of the inner framework. Zhu Zhanghui turned out to be the legendary Wuti Jilong. Oh dear, King Yan has definitely lost. The gap in strength between King Yan and me is just too wide. As the competition begins, at this moment, King Yan thought to herself, is he going to borrow my totem? Help him step into the five realms. Meanwhile, Zhu Zhanghui suddenly unleashed a fierce tiger's roar, released the inner framework. In an instant, Commander Hu Wuan charged forward, suddenly transformed into an eagle's claw. With a loud bang, it struck the original position of King Yun. At that moment, the startled King Yun looked on in shock. Such a tough opponent. As Zhu Zhanghui charged up again, King Yun reached out to unleash the tsunami bow. At this moment, Yang Xiu in the stands looked on with joy. 9 shockwaves. His tsunami bow reached the summit of the great city. As she dodged in the midst of the fierce battle, King Yan thought to herself, in the recent tsunami bow, I also used Titan Slayer. Qi Zhouhui's spirit was not affected at all. It seems that a strange force deflected my attack. At that moment, Zhu Zhanghui was enveloped in purple lightning. With a loud boom, a bolt of lightning shot from his mouth towards King Yan. At this moment, King Yan gritted her teeth and thought, monster, how could such terrifying thunder erupt from its mouth? Suddenly he exerted force with his foot, jumped up in an instant. Shizhen Zhenfeng launched an attack. As the smoke and dust settled, Zhu Zhanghui's clothes were torn in several places from the beating. At that moment, the male princess in the stands looked on and questioned, King Yan, you actually dared to hurt Ahui so badly. King Yan, however, replied impatiently, if you don't want to get hurt in the competition, just go home and drink milk. Can you imagine what lies beneath this beauty's cold exterior? Is there really such a wild heart? Listening to King Yan's words, the entire venue erupted in excitement. This made the male princess extremely angry. Suddenly, the atmosphere shouted, Ahiye, resolve him. As long as he is dead, Zhao Yulan is yours now. Don't you really want to have her? Zhu Zhanghui laughed heartily at this moment. I really want to have her. I want to slowly torture her to death. With a flash, he instantly teleported to King Yan's side. The soul-severing palm struck King Yan's arm. King Yan also dug in, and a burst of watermelon juice sprayed out. At this moment, Du Gui called out delicately from below the stage. King Yan, step down from the competition stage. Zhu Zhanghui launched another flurry of attacks at King Yan on stage. The male princess on the stage looked on with pride. Ah, even if King Yan didn't die, just based on the fact that he hurt Ah Hui so badly, you also have to go to jail. He instructed immediately. Ahe, after taking away his totem tattoo, spare his dog life. Anyway, he's finished. At this moment, King Yan has been seriously injured and lies on the ground. As Zhu Zhanghui tore his clothes apart, the beautiful girl watching shyly exclaimed, oh dear, why is he tearing his clothes? So embarrassing. It's all fur. Why are you taking off your clothes casually? Brug. As Zhu Zhanghui activated his martial soul, King Yan's martial soul also manifested. At this moment, Zhu Zhanghui looked on smugly. Ah, you are not worthy of possessing the Heavenly Master Totem pattern. Only me. Only then can it be carried forward and flourish. Did you see? The Celestial Master Totem pattern wants to come over by itself. King Yan is inherently a weak person. Totem patterns only follow the strong. Xianxia shouted anxiously, "Qingyan, you need to pull yourself together. Your totem, it is your only strength now." Yui kicked Qingyan out and said, "I have destroyed his martial soul. He can't move at all." As Lan Fengjing and the others looked on with worry, suddenly Qingyan's aura surged dramatically. In an instant, the celestial master totem was activated. As the aura continues to grow stronger, at that moment, Qingyan Ziyu behind him drew his bow towards Hui. A punch struck his body with a thud. He directly sprayed him with a mouthful of watermelon juice. "Pick at it,